All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Core Unit Tools session. Here we're really excited to have Request Network here with us to kind of give us a demo, help us learn a little bit on how we can use it going forward in the DAO. Yeah, without too much further ado, I'll kick it over to Christoph there and make sure you'll be sharing a screen for a presentation, you said?
Yep.
All
so
right.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Hi everyone. Thanks, Rose. I'm gonna go on with a presentation. Anyone can interrupt me in the meantime. Totally okay with this, or wait until the end of the presentation, to ask all the questions. Anyway, it's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share. Okay, does everyone see my screen?
Looking good.
Perfect. So welcome to Core Unit Tool number 6. I'm Christoph, the head of strategic partnership and business development at Request. Tonight I decided to avoid any Murphy's Law live demo. So I did prepare a few slides, but of course we can ahead and with the live product if needed. About Request. Request is a suite of financial apps dedicated to crypto-first companies, especially DeFi ecosystem, mainly ICOs dealing with crypto flows, DAOs, contractor of the ecosystem, employees of the ecosystem getting paid in crypto, and any supplier, smart contract auditor, marketing agency, designers, willing to get paid in crypto. So this suite of financial apps is starting with a first invoicing solution, and payroll, expense, and accounting solution are being developed at the moment. A bit of context. Before Request, managing crypto flows, crypto financial flows was totally a nightmare, totally crazy. And I speak on behalf of financial departments, CFOs that we've been talking to. So originally handling crypto financial flows look like this. So it's an Excel spreadsheet as an invoice or an email. You submit this to or a Telegram message or a Slack message to the person you'd like to be paid. You share an Ethereum address. The person copy paste your address, copy paste or set manually the amount in the wallet, whatever is the wallet, and when the person proceeds the payment, that person sends you a Etherscan link to prove that he or she is a good person, that he actually made his part of the job paying you. On the recipient side, for CFOs and accounting departments, it's a nightmare because operational teams provide as a paper trail a bunch of Etherscan links, emails, messenger notifications as a paper trail. So we did initiate the relationship with MakerDAO more than a year ago, I would say a year and a half, in order to make the payment of first the grants and bounties more smooth on behalf of the foundation. And we did co-elaborate this solution together with your financial department, so Maker ecosystem financial department, and people in operations. It was originally pushed by Rich Brown on behalf of the community. And we did end up with a tool that enabled both issuers and recipients of financial flows, crypto financial flows, to have a better experience. For the issuer of the invoices that we're going to see on the next slide, you have like a solution that enable you to request funds more than like writing an email. And for the recipient, so in this case, MakerDAO Financial Department, Maker Foundation Financial Department, a dashboard with all the inbound grants and bounties or invoice to pay to the community. So instead of like having a spreadsheet, so most of you have already used it. So on the left side, you have the interface, the front end of request, enabling you to denominate your invoices both in fiat currency, or they can be denominated in crypto. And you can require the payment you like. It can be, so of course, by default request is like the default currency is DAI based on our partnership. But like people can also require like any other stable coin or even like any altcoin. On the right side, you have the status of an invoice. The fact that the invoice is on chain, you have a live status of all your invoices from the moment of broadcasting on Ethereum to its reception, acceptance, payment, original date and payment effective date. And at the bottom of the invoice, you have, of course, the Etherscan link that everyone like use to send to each other. If you have a look at the invoice on the right in particular, this one is being denominated in Swiss francs and actually paid in DAI. So this object represents the best of the two worlds for like companies willing to manage their finance using both fiat system and crypto payment. An invoice denominated in fiat currency, so in this case, Swiss francs, is easily, you can make easy bookkeeping into your accounting system, just like uploading an invoice as you would upload any other invoice. And it makes also like the payer and the recipient happy since they receive crypto, the money at the speed of internet. Now, core units, talking about core unit financial setup, Request is offering exclusive features to core unit using both Request and Gnosis. So this is new, it's not even developed. So it's not live yet, it's a matter of days, but this is what it looks like. I want to share first like a user story from like Emma from a Gnosis Financial Department, saying that she's been like having a great experience using Request for like salary and expense management in both fiat and crypto. And she also uses it for like having like a compliant paper trail, or at least documents that justify every single transaction flow. So I know that it's not like needed from all the core units to have like a paper trail, and it's not like the priority at the moment. But in the end, when the core units are growing, and if there is like, they start to have like, on top of the payment experience, an accounting or maybe an audit one day, every single transaction flow can be will be properly documented. Talking about the exclusive features, so Request is now integrated as a safe app. So there was like from the one of you who experienced this, paying an invoice, if you ever done this through Wallet Connect, was not like the best user experience ever. So we are now like directly integrating NoticeSafe app. as a custom app, just typing in like invoicing.request.network into Gnosis, and request invoicing will pop in the middle of the other apps. And the same exact dashboard will appear in NoticeSafe. So you connect to your safe, of course, and the only difference is that when you're gonna hit the button pay, you're gonna go through the NoticeSafe process. So it's pretty seamless. You confirm the transaction you are paying as you would do like with a simple MetaMask. Now, second exclusive features coming for the users of NoticeSafe plus request is like batching payments. This feature allow like you to select like 1, 2, 3 invoices like this. And when you select those 3 invoices from NoticeSafe app, just hit the button pay. You have like a notification message that's gonna give you like the exact number of payments you're gonna make. So here are 3 invoices. If you click on one of these invoice, you have the detail of the payment you're gonna make, and just submit it. Sign with MetaMask, in this case with the second wallet, and boom, and you're all set. So those new features are like we're missing like over the last, I don't know, 2-3 months. And batching payments is like an important matter, especially when we talk about payroll or making multiple payments. Yeah, so as a summary, Request is like this suite of financial apps, starting with invoicing, of course, followed by payroll, expense, and accounting. Dedicated, of course, to crypto first and especially DAOs, companies managing crypto, and contractors. Maker is like was the first adopter of that technology, or among the first. It's been since like last September. It's been followed by large other foundations. And what is important is that those other companies or foundations are like also using Request, and this is just the beginning. They embed their whole ecosystem using Request. So if the ecosystem of each core unit will get to know sooner or later like a Request suite of products. I'm done with the presentation. So now I open the mic to anyone willing for Q&A.
Awesome. I know I had a question. For me, probably the longest portion of like utilizing request network is actually entering in the individual things from like my time tracker, my productivity tracker, if you will. Was curious if you had any plans to integrate with any of those, so you could just hit a button and have it all automatically upload to your invoice.
So that's not in the plan yet. You mean like the timesheet, right?
Yeah, like Toggle or what have you.
So it's not in the roadmap yet, since there was not like a lot of demand for such feature. But that's totally like doable if it's, since we develop like the payroll module, this can be added to the specs of the payroll module, and with a pleasure we gather all the needs like yours.
I think potentially it's adding the feature to get CSV files import, right? So you would need to export a CSV from any kind of tool and then be able to modify it and upload it, just to get the lines in the invoice. I think that would be cool. That's a good suggestion. Any questions? Frank, you have to have a question for us.
Yeah, my first thing that comes to my mind is the timely payments, right? So if you request something, how long do someone should expect to get a payment? Is that anything to do with requests, or is that just an accounting issue? Not an accounting issue, but a payments issue from the other end.
I'm not sure to get it, Frank.
So it's pretty much a question about the timeliness of payments.
Yeah.
So say I'm a developer and I made a request, like how long should I expect to receive a payment?
When you like use request invoicing, you set yourself the date of payment. So by default, it's 30 days, like any invoicing solution. And you set yourself the due date of that invoice. And so this is for like the payment date. And for the payment itself, it's a matter of a crypto payment. So it's like depending on Ethereum. But like when someone hits the button, it's like a totally normal transaction. It's broadcasted instantly. So it's a matter of minutes.
Got it. That makes sense. And if I'm running a core unit and I'm based out of Delaware or Wyoming as a limited liability company, an LLC, are there any auditing, anything related to auditing that that I could use with Request Network?
Like to audit the accounts?
Wyoming, and I needed to provide some auditing request. Is that something you guys? And it's funny because you're named Request, right? But if I had an audit request, would you be able to provide it?
So we don't provide ourselves any audit, but like any auditor would be like glad to see like a clean paper trail for every single transaction you've made. So you would like from the dashboard click on the CSV export button and like submit this to any I would say auditor. So it's like Request is not providing such service because it's totally forbidden, by the way, to do like both accounting and audit. So we are more on the accounting side, and you can take like any independent auditor.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. And hypothetically, if my core unit wanted to get some funding in USDC versus DAI, is that something you guys can swap?
Yeah, totally. So that's really interesting as a question. So when you issue an invoice, at the moment of payment, the payer, so yourself first, when you issue the invoice, you choose the currency you want to receive. Let's say that you want to receive USDC. You set and you send the invoice to me saying that you want to receive USDC. On my side of the world, when I receive the invoice, I hit the button pay, and I can pay with any stable coin available in my wallet. We have an integration with Uniswap, so it's going to be more costly for me to pay you in another currency than the one you required initially. But I can totally pay you in DAI. It's been swapped during like the moment of payment and sent directly to your wallet. So you're going to receive the same equivalent in USDC.
Cool. Thank you.
Christophe, maybe you can comment a bit on the gas costs. So what's the difference between sending a payment through Request versus sending a payment manually through, I don't know, MetaMask, for example?
Yeah. So the gas fee is like a bit higher on a request. because like we take a fee. We take a fee of 0.1% of the total amount of the invoice. And this is kept at $2. So it's like a really tiny amount below $2. And if you start like invoicing like from 2,000 to $2 billion, it's going to cost you $2 anyway. Request fee, and the rest of the fee is like a totally normal gas price. So nowadays, a total gas price is like pretty expensive. Like people are like paying like $50 to get paid like 200. But like we're like integrating like additional chains, including XDAI, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon, to give the freedom to all the users to use the chain of their choice to pay, even for the Ethereum native company like us. The gas fees at the moment do not make sense. So people are looking for like workaround in the short term, and when Ethereum scales and like honor like the promise of scalability plus low cost, of course people is gonna be there like to run on Ethereum.
Nice. So if I understood correctly, the fee you take it in ETH, so you convert $2 or 0.1%
Yeah,
into
exactly.
ETH. Okay. Interesting.
So we take the fee in the currency of the invoice. So if it's in DAI, it's like it's gonna be maybe $1 in DAI.
Okay. So if I pay 2,000, if the invoice is 2,000, then I would need to pay 2002 DAI plus the ETH.
Plus the gas. Yes.
Okay. Okay. I thought that you convert it and the fee was paid in ETH, but okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
A question, if that's all right. You mentioned some L2s. Have you looked into like using optimism at all? It seems to be where people are going.
So yes, it's also in the roadmap. So it's not in the current sprint, but yes, it's totally like it's the not all, but like L2s are like in the roadmap, because we are like working in a sense that anyone could in the future add any L2. So if it's optimism, it's optimism. If XDAI team wants to code XDAI, they would code XDAI themselves.
Okay, so you won't actually be producing the integrations yourself. You'll just be like leaving it open to the various sidechains or L2s to do. Okay, I'm not sure how many of them are going to have time for that, but I guess maybe they will. I had another question about the sort of batching stuff as well. You mentioned that was kind of coming soon. Is there any like rough timeline on that? Are we talking like days, weeks, months?
Yeah, for which ones?
For batch payments to use through Gnosis.
It's a matter of days. So we had a Ask Me Anything session yesterday with Amy, and I would say that I would disclose like a bit of information tonight. I was saying, and so yes, basically it's ready. We did not. It was supposed to be shipped this morning live, and I told the dev team not to ship it, because if I was like making like live test tonight for the first time with you guys, I prefer to avoid like I would have preferred to have like 1 or 2 days to stress the system before. So I think it's gonna be released like any time next week.
Okay, cool. And then my other question was related to that. I was just curious about the kind of, if there's any like gas savings using the kind of batch distributions versus individuals.
Yes. So yes, there is of course gas savings, because like when you pay 3 invoice, as I did show in one payment, The objective is, of course, not to pay 3 times the gas. So there is like economy of scale here. I don't have the exact number of. For sure, it's going to be more expensive than like a simple sending payment, since it's from the contract. But for sure, it will be less expensive than like sending through payments.
Cool. And I guess following on from your kind of previous discussion on fees, right? How will fees work in like the batch thing? Is it still like $2 max per invoice or 0.1% per invoice or whatever? Or?
Yeah, it's gonna remain $2 max per invoice.
Okay.
So
thanks.
yeah.
Christophe, I saw a comment from Nati about the airdrop. Maybe you can comment a bit on that.
Where?
She said, awesome airdrop approach.
So there is absolutely no airdrop approach. No, I prefer to be clear. This is like not even like a word that we want to use for like legal purpose. So what we did, we want to test the request mission is to become a DAO as well, and we want to test the voting system. So only to some tokens have been sent to only to the users of request invoicing, and not to all the wallets in the world, but to the request invoicing. And the objective is for the operational, let's say, users to share their opinion based on like an amount of token like they own. So it's like just to weight basically the answers.
Awesome. Kind of switching gears a little bit. I've only used requests like as a person invoicing. I was curious if there are any tools on the like flip side. For instance, let's say we have a new contributor, we're about to do their first payment to them. Are we able to like request a signature from their wallet through the request network or something to confirm their address?
I'm not sure to understand well because like it did cut a bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so like you know, for like let's say we have a user who's submitting an invoice to us for the very first time. Is there a way through the request network we could request a signature from their wallet just to confirm the address, or is it just kind of whatever is put on that field it'll go to?
Yeah, normally there is no need to confirm their reception address, because like we took like one like design let's say decision in terms of product is like when you want to get paid, normally you are able to paste the proper wallet address where you're going to receive the funds. So you are super careful with this. Normally the issue comes when you copy paste someone else's address. You can make mistakes, but people normally don't make mistake with their own. So when they like issue their first invoice, they set like the recipient email address plus their own wallet address, and they are all set.
Makes sense. Thank you.
And Christopher, regarding going to a bit to safety and privacy, like I heard some comments about well, first requesting the email and then not requesting the email and the address. Maybe you can comment a bit on what types of information you keep from different users and how you deal with that.
Yes. So request C. So we have absolutely no access to the content of an invoice. So the metadata of the invoice, the content is hosted on IP, encrypted on IPFS, and then only the hash of the corresponding to that invoice is on Ethereum. So it's end-to-end encrypted. And what requests see on their side, if I speak about like the team, is that through the Google accounts, we see like issuer and recipients email addresses. We don't see the content of the invoices. And of course, if we dig into on Etherscan, we can see as anyone the amount of a transaction, but there is no way to link this normally.
Makes sense. Sounds good. Are there any type of questions? I think we are all quite experienced with requests, so
Yeah.
That's why we're more excited about hearing what's coming next and the roadmap than the actual demo.
So yeah, this is why I went like quite quick over the slides, because like most of you like know already the product. What's coming next is like those like, and we did talk about this with Amy in terms of financial setup for the core units, providing like a proper toolkit for every single core unit to manage with no difficulty their finance. First, getting paid from the protocol, so that's like easy. And then like managing like spendings or like account payable, asking their own ecosystem to use this tool in order to maintain like a proper paper trail, because in the end, it's like each core unit will have its own paper trail, as Frank was it you? No, it wasn't Frank who was like talking about like the LLC in Delaware?
Yeah, it was Frank.
That was Frank, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, likewise, Frank was saying. So every single core unit will have its paper trail. So now what we're working on is like tying and reinforce the partnership we have with Gnosis. And this is why we want to provide Gnosis plus request exclusive features. So batching payment have been like asked many times, and John Ennis provided us like last week like a piece of code that like unlocked this feature. So this is perfect, and it did enable as well the integration of request in the Safe app. So because like copy pasting like the QR code from Wallet Connect into the Safe was not the best experience ever. So we found a way like to avoid using Wallet Connect while managing the payments of Maker together with Gnosis.
That makes sense.
And then you were asking about like the coming features. We insist a lot on being like a financial suite of applications, a suite of financial applications, sorry. So expense management is like something that have been asked many times to us since like payroll, and like of course like a decent accounting solution is needed. And when I say a decent one, of course traditional accounting systems are like useful, but like you have to find some tricks to bookkeep like crypto transactions. So what we found at Request was like some of our users are like denominating all their transaction flows in USD, whatever the token they're getting paid with. And if you do so, you can maintain a normal accounting as if you had like a total normal business from the legacy world. So yes, we are working on an accounting solution for like crypto first companies.
Yeah, and what I think I heard you, and I apologize, I kind of step off for a second. You mentioned something about NoticeSafe, and
Yes.
I was wondering. So, as far as safety protocol, there, connecting with requests to NoticeSafe, are you using some kind of like a JSON file that one must produce, or a key store file?
So I cannot answer that question myself because I don't have the technical details of the way it's connected, but like if you, I can take that question and just like come back to you whenever on Telegram or like in private chat. I can come back to you or provide the answer later.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I'm just seeing a lot more of that being used for safety, and with like companies like Venmo and I guess PayPal, right, coming into the space, do you think maybe in the future they'll get into it too and start doing invoicing? Is that something you guys think about, or not really?
Yeah, so I wish they do. I wish they do. I would take this as a fantastic opportunity to prove the world that crypto plus invoicing has a value to the legacy world. So yes, I wish they do. I don't see this. I really take this as an opportunity for adoption purpose because, like, if tomorrow PayPal opens the door for businesses or like to e-merchant, I would say, to get paid in crypto, that's totally fine. It's like a fantastic news for our world.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a question in the chat there, Juan.
In terms of late strategy, do you see it being more?
Yeah, if you want, I can read it, but it's in terms of late strategy. Do you see request being more of a large business, small business, self-employed solution for invoicing, or you're trying to capture all the market?
So for sure, I would say we capture the B2B market. So in a sense, we are not like a payment module for like e-merchants. This is not our job. We focus on enabling B2B or businesses to make business with each other using crypto in the most compliant way possible, providing like a paper trail that is like almost inexistent today when transacting in crypto, on top of like having an email attached to like justifying like a flow. So I would say SMEs and like self-employed people are like the biggest targets. Of course, we provide a tool for like a large foundation, like a Maker Foundation, or like other like crypto actors that I did show earlier. So we provide tool for those large foundations because they want to have like a proper paper trail. But like the main audience is like the ecosystem of those big foundations, and this ecosystem is mainly composed of SMEs, self-employed contractors. So everyone doing like invoicing, whatever the size of their business, can benefit of request.
Speaking of that,
yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the REQ token? So I'm a grantee from the foundation through MakerDAO, and we've used Request quite extensively in community development. And so got an invitation to come to your snapshot pages and vote, which I thought was a really cool way to add in product features. Do you want to sort of articulate your plans of what you guys want to do for that token? Is it just sort of like a way to source community feedback, or what are you looking to do? Because that's what I thought it was for, and I thought that was a really innovative and thoughtful approach. Very crypto native, also really interesting.
Thank you very much. We appreciate a lot the comment. So yes, that was totally the objective. One more time, request. Okay, we have a community of investors, which is fine, and we have a community of users. And we are really interested in having the opinion of, first of all, the users of request products. Of course, we take into consideration the opinion of the investors, but this product is dedicated to users. So we wanted like to give like the mic to our community of users, rating first the feature that they would love to see first, and so on and so on. So that's interacting with our community is the main goal. And as I said earlier and yesterday during the Ask Me Anything with Amy, Request has the ambition to become a DAO. And the only objective of the REQ token in this context is to be like a voting token. And we really want like large users like Maker ecosystem, Gnosis ecosystem, Kyber ecosystem, and so on and so on, using extensively Request to have with their holdings of REQ tokens, the biggest voice operationally speaking, to give like the product the more sense business-wise.
And Christoph, is there like, can you give us an example of the reasons why an invoice might get rejected by requests? Like, give us examples. Is it, maybe something wasn't filled out?
Yeah. So I was discussing with the CFO of The Graph recently, and he did reject a few invoices because they were like missing like either like a purchase order or it was denominated in the wrong currency. So when like a recipient of an invoice maybe like the misses an info, you can, for example, you can attach your timesheet. You can attach any file when submitting an invoice. So if you're a contractor submitting an invoice to like a core unit and you forget to attach your timesheet, it can happen. The recipient of the invoice can just like reject the invoice with a note, say, hey, please add your timesheet. It's a way to interact with issuer and recipient more than sending each other emails.
And I
Does
guess
that
you would
answer the
get,
question?
yeah, totally. And I guess you would get a notification, right? And
You
also,
do.
I get in your customer service, it's is it really good? Is it better than Coinbase? Because those guys are awful.
Thanks.
Christoph, you said you can attach something to the invoice.
Yeah. So let me screen share one second.
Back in my day, we couldn't.
Yeah. No, it's like we've been releasing such features and quite quick, and I'm not sure that we communicated on everything we did. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, potentially that would solve the multi-line problem, right? Because you could just write one line, attach a PDF or whatnot, and then you would just.
So here, when you create an invoice, so you choose, of course, the currency. So everyone is familiar with this. So we add more and more currencies in the list. Not for fancy purpose. We add, like, for example, like when we started with Aave, the financial team did ask us to add ADAI, AUSDC, and Aave token. So just like those are like the news. Let me show you here, denomination. And of course, I built to, I don't know, myself. Okay, DAI is by default, but I can pick any currency available here to get paid. I choose my wallet. description, you're familiar with this. And here, I don't know if some of you are using this feature, but two features at the bottom of the invoice. So the one, Juan, we're talking about is like here attaching a file. So if you click here, you can like attach anything, okay? Any PDF, timesheet, whatever. And if you want to submit, for example, like a monthly salary to your core unit or get paid by your core unit or any employer, you set here the pace after X time at a specific date, how often, and so on. So here you can set the pace of recurring invoice. So you issue, for example, one, and every month the recipient will receive the same invoice with the same amount and denomination. So those are like
I think most contributors have fluctuating times, and so that's less used in general, but it's a cool feature.
Some suppliers are using it for like service level agreements or stuff like this.
Yeah, makes sense. I wanted to ask you, can the same account be at the same time producing invoices and then paying invoices? Like I can imagine a core unit receiving or invoicing the DAO, and then the DAO paying that core unit, and that core unit paying the contributors' invoices.
Exactly. So here I have like sent invoices. Okay. So here I have like you have like all the invoices that have been sent on my side. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And here you have all the invoices that have been received. So the same dashboard does both account receivable and account payable. And then you have like, of course, like if you want to sort like all the one waiting for payment, the one like you rejected, the one that are paid, and so on and so on. For information, we're currently redesigning the whole dashboard to make it like more visual with like pie chart and stuff like this, turnover per customer. So we're like collecting the needs at the moment from the users regarding this in order to make it, one more time, the objective is to make it useful for our users.
And can multiple users access that same account and then have like a 4i principle? So one of them could validate the invoice and the second one paid.
Okay, so I give you the example of Maker Foundation today for the grants and the bounties use case. So basically, if we go to that page, which is where is it? Yeah, community funds. So on the Maker community funds page, oh, that's a new page.
I'm glad I'm here.
Tim?
We restructured that one.
What did you do, Tim?
So it's like so here normally it's written somewhere there is the process to ask for the grant, get funded.
In the very bottom it said applied for a development grant.
Yeah, it's a new page though. Well, anyway,
I dropped the link. I dropped the link for you. Yeah, it's
so
we restructured the headers.
Yeah, so the way it works today at the community level is like Amy and Torben share the same account, which is like contributing at MakerDAO. And all the grants demands fall into that dashboard in the received side. So this one. And then Amy, she goes over every single grant demand. She click on it. She say, okay, this one, okay, boom. And she goes, okay, reject, period, wrong amount. Boom. Okay, and the information is broadcasted on chain that, or just like rejected, because like she might receive some spam sometimes. So then if she goes there, waiting for payment, So she can manage all the inbound flow of invoices falling into the dashboard, arriving in the dashboard. And when she's done, for example, like once every, I don't know, at the end of the month or every week, Torben, the CFO, he comes here and he doesn't need to read every single invoice that have been approved, because he knows that it's been approved already by Amy. So he comes here and he pays with like his second signature on the multi-sig. So Amy has a signature to approve and Torben has a signature to pay.
A different signature on the same account.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess.
So that's like that's the way it works today. So I don't know if she signs with a wallet the approval, or if it's just like at the applicative level, and then like Torben signed with his signature.
And do you have like a demo account? So if we wanted to see how the process works and batching and whatnot, is there like a sandbox where we can mess things, or should we test in prod and YOLO?
Yeah, no, there is no sandbox. You can totally mess the live prod. So two things. If you want to give a try, it's better like to give a try with like a random account that you will not use later for like let's say official paper trail, because like if you since like the invoices are like immutable, all the tests you're gonna make is gonna remain attached to, of course, to your account.
Okay.
So it's better like to use a test account. So we don't have a sandbox. If we have like 200 testers next week, we're gonna think of a sandbox. Otherwise, just like test it with like a random account. No worries.
Okay, so the best way to get this started is it's pretty much just go online, make an account, and start setting things up.
Yep, invoicing.request.network, and just like start from there.
Going a little bit back to the DAO, I think Clement had a question about when are people going to be running their own nodes. So how far are we from decentralizing the protocol with user-operated nodes? From 1 to 3 years or 5 years?
Yeah, honestly, I don't have an answer for this. I don't have an answer. I'd love to have like a crystal ball, but I don't. I mean, like I cannot make any promise here. That's for sure. That's the objective, but like the timeline.
Makes sense.
It's like adding a feature. Sometimes we say that it's gonna take like a week or 2 weeks, and by next sprint it's gonna be released, and then like on the way you have the surprises.
Makes total sense. Do you have any other questions? I think we covered quite a lot of ground, but maybe there's some parting questions.
I think for me would be if hypothetically the smart contracts team got an invoice for a large order, right? Say for $1 million because they bought, I don't know, equipment or nodes and distributed them all over the world. And can you have a workflow where you would have like 4 different individuals, like the facilitator, the smart contract team leader, like Chris Mooney, have to review it, sign it, approve it? Do you guys have that at all, or?
That's so you're totally right to us. Yes, and this is on the NoticeSafe side more than on the request one. It's a matter of like co-signing a transaction based on like thresholds. but like for sure, you can set like thresholds that anyone can pay like an invoice under that amount with Gnosis, and above such amount, like the facilitator has to co-sign or whatever. That's totally doable. Yes.
But there won't be like, so if core units get audited by the community, by the maker token holders, next year, and they want to see why $1 million was spent on equipment, will Chris Mooney and the facilitator be able to prove that they approved the $1 million purchase? Or are they going to have to look at the blockchain and say the NoticeSafe showed approval by 0x1 and 0x2 and 0x3?
Yes. So for sure, they won't be able to disclose from request itself, since it's fully encrypted. What they can do is like communicate publicly the safe addresses they use, and even their signer addresses, and then like the interested person can go check on chain who did sign which transaction. But we won't do that ourselves. It's like Maker has a specific need for and the core unit for transparency, and it's like unlikely that other businesses, like 90% of the businesses in the world, have their like business recipe in the invoice, so it has to remain encrypted.
Got it. Okay.
And,
cool, man.
and confidential. Yeah.
Got it. And I guess the copies that you get, those are decentralized. So, well, probably not, right? I guess you store them in a server. So, say you get 100 invoices from 5 different core units a month. Where are they stored? Yeah. Where exactly do you store them?
So request is not storing anything. The invoice are stored in the decentralized way, using IPFS as a decentralized, I would say, storage. And it's encrypted there, and we timestamp every single invoice on the blockchain, so on Ethereum, so XDAI at the moment, but request doesn't have any info on any server.
Cool, that's good to know, man.
Yeah,
that makes sense. IPFS.
Yeah, it's like
awesome.
It's funny because like that's a discussion we've had in the past, and talking about like the business of the business model of PayPal, and people were like, I was listening to a conference where people were saying that PayPal most value is not the fee they take on every single transaction, is the content of all transaction, the data of all transaction. They can access the content of every single deal or payment. So for sure, this has much more value than the percentage of every single transaction.
Awesome. And want to be cognizant we are just past the top of the hour here. So I might toss it back to you, Christophe, for any parting words. Maybe give us some links where can people get in contact with you if they have further questions or want to learn more.
What I'm gonna do is copy paste. I'm gonna copy paste in the chat my email address and my Telegram handle. Don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. It's like really important. I will make the link with like the product team and the dev team. If for any technical question or like product question, it's really important us to collect the needs to make this product operational and useful for like you guys. You were our part of our first users, and you are like, and we want to hear your voice. And like Tim noticed that like the voice of the community is important for us.
Well, excellent. We really appreciate you taking the time to walk us through and answer all the questions. So thanks everybody for coming out, and yeah, don't be shy. Hit them up if you had any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Christoph.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for being here tonight.